Okay guys, so this is Cyprien from FU for All, and today I'll talk about something very important in Salome-Meca that you should all know about, and this is called Astk. So Astk used to be the most important, one of the most important part in code-aster before, because it was the part which was actually running your analysis. Before we had this fancy interface of Salome-Meca 2017 and Aster Study to create the command file. Well, there was another way to basically create this command file and run the code-aster solver on the command file to get the results. And this way was called Astk. Now, in this version of Salome-Meca 2017, Astk is still there. So, and in some cases you will need it, because I'm sad to say that there's still some kind of bugs remaining in the interface for some commands. So in this case, if Aster Study doesn't work, well, you'll have to use Astk. So this video will show you how to use Astk. So first thing you need to do is to go on Tool, Plugin, Salome-Meca, and this is where Astk is. So click here, and okay, you open it. So let's take a look. So this is the Astk, the famous Astk box. So this is so what is Astk? Well, Astk is some kind of small software which kind of will link the different files you need for your analysis together in order to run them into the code-aster solver and deliver the results. So it's kind of a linking file software or something like that. So now let's go into my folder where I have my analysis files that I run previously with code-aster and Salome-Meca and Aster Study. And you see that I have my com file, my command file, which is the file where basically all the graphical commands that I define in Aster Study are defined under text format like that. So if you don't want to use Aster Study, you could very well just write the commands directly out of the blue like that, with the exact parameters inside. You see that everything is defined. You have the parameters for the material, you have the degrees of freedom which are blocked, you have the value of the load, you have everything you need. So, but how do you run that on the mesh, right? And by the way, where is my mesh? Okay, I forgot to export the mesh, so I'll do that right now. So I had my, let's open again my previous analysis that I just closed. So this is this one, contact. And let's go in the mesh module. So I need a mesh file, right? And if I'm using Astk, I need to have it. So let's go here and okay, I have actually to export both. So let's go on mesh, export met file. So this is the mesh one, save, and this is the mesh 2. Okay, let's close again that. Okay, now I have my two mesh files, I have my command file, I have my RMed file, which is the result file, and this is the Aster Study file, so we don't need this one. So let's create another RMed file, a new one. So let's call it contact2.rmed. Okay, and now let's use Astk to run that. So now it's just a file, a text file, and there's nothing inside. So now let's run the same analysis using Astk. So to use Astk, the first thing you have to do is to click on this icon here and to select the folder in which you have everything. So this is on my desktop, and this is this one, contact. Okay, so every other path will be defined relatively to this one. And now you have to open a different file required for your analysis. So the first one is the com file. Open that. The second is, so I have med file 1. I have med file 2. Okay. And I have to open also the RMed file, which is the output. And I still need something. I need to create manually a mess file. So this is the file in which I'll get the error message. So just search for the extension mess dot and call it, well, let's call it contact dot mess. So mess means message, I think. So, but I think it's pretty well chosen because, you know, all the errors will go in this file and it will make a big mess. So that's a mess file, right? Okay, joke apart. You see there's another important thing here is that you have two things. One, you have units. So units are important because they are used to link the file from your command file into the files you have here. And you have things here. You have input and you have output. So the D means input. I don't know why it's called D. And R is the output. I don't know why it's called R either. So let's open the com file. And I think I need to do a small kind of change. Yeah, because my unit mesh 1 is 20, so that's okay, but my mesh 2 is 20 also, and here in this file is 2. So I need to use the same, basically same unit. So let's call it 2 as well. And okay, now let's try and run Astk. So you just have to press the run button. Oh, okay, you have to save it also. Save it. Okay, and the job is done. Now let's double click here to open the mess file, and let's take a look to see if I got my results. And yes, no error. So it worked. So everything was completed correctly. So you see that in some way, if you have a quick change to do, it's maybe even faster than using Aster Study. You just have to double click on the com file, or open it like that. Sorry, open it like that here, and then, you know, change the value of the pressure, run again, and, you know, you can do it like that. You can now, how do you visualize the results, right? So the results were saved in the contact to RMed. Well, you can still use Paravis, so you can still go into, okay, here, go in Paravis, new, and you just have to click right open and open the RMed file from the folder contact2.rmed. Okay, and you see that I'm getting the same thing then with Aster Study, so it works. Okay, so if you didn't watch the previous tutorial about contact, so this is the model of the contact where I'm explaining how to do contact between two solids. So I'll put the link to this tutorial as well in the description of the video, so you can watch that one as well if it interests you to learn how to contact between two parts in Salome-Meca. So that's all for Astk, I think. Let me think just 1 second if I forgot to tell you something. Yeah, if you have some curves or something like that you want to create, the unit you want to use is Libre, this one, Libre. And then you can, the only thing you have to do is in the com file, you have to match the right unit to this. So Astk is able to link your file with the link here inside, with the command inside the file. and choose if this is an input or an output. So you have to choose the right, to check the right box. And that's basically all you need to know. Also, don't forget about the memory. The memory here is important, so if your model doesn't run, increase the memory. Okay, I think that's all for Astk. I hope it was useful for you to watch this video. If it is, please leave a comment on the video. I like very much to see people saying that they get something from those videos, so it gives me some, gives me a lot of goodwill to create new tutorials. And if there's also something very specific you want to see or you want to try but you don't know how to do it, just write it in the comment and let me know, and I'll consider that for the next tutorials. So thank you again for watching, and you're welcome also on my blog fa4.com. So see you next time, and thank you again.